N4V Intelligence for SAP Business Objects will take me from idea to dashboard with its AI-powered natural language query and data visualization recommendations. For those of you who may not be aware of our feature set, I wanted to quickly review the need for this solution for SAP Business Objects Web Intelligence. N4V Widgets integrates new data visualization components and navigation features, enabling advanced dashboarding and web intelligence. N4V Maps integrates beautiful and interactive offline and online maps and custom plans directly into web intelligence. N4V Analysis is a collection of powerful number crunching tables, including our premium data analyzer. These bring Excel-like capabilities into web intelligence, including customizable pivot tables and formulas to please your organization's most demanding data analysts. N4V Publisher is designed for distributing and updating information outside of the Business Objects platform. And today, I'd like to show you N4V Intelligence. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to use eFashion for this example. And when I choose to begin the chat, it's going to give me a little bit of background about eFashion as well, as there are 5 different questions that I can ask if I'm not really sure to begin. But I'm going to ask, just give me our key performance indicators, including revenue, units, and margin. And for those of you who are familiar with eFashion, you'll know that the actual objects are called sales revenue, quantity sold, and margin. And so you can see them there in the chat window. So it's not necessary to use exact universe terminology because we've trained the universe with the natural language model, and I can simply use shorthand like revenue and units. Okay, so that was a pretty good question, but I'm going to ask it for a prompt. So for all the requests of this chat, always ask the user to specify 1 or more years, okay? So it's going to think about that, and you can see that it's added a prompt to the previous question. So I did not have to state the entire question. I am having a conversation, so I just needed to add a little bit of additional information. Okay, now the yellow box in the AI assistant is just there as a reminder to tell me that I will need to answer a prompt for this particular question. So when I generate the query, notice that I get a table, but it's empty. So I simply go up to the Web Intelligence toolbar and hit the refresh button, and I pick the years that I want. And notice that I did get check boxes, which is what I was hoping for, the ability to enter 1 or more years, rather than a radio button, which would have only let me pick 1. So N4V Intelligence is doing a good job of understanding uh, what I really am expecting from my query. Okay, so those are my key performance indicators. Let me ask a slightly different question. So I want to see my revenue broken down by month. And so it's going to go ahead and add the year object, and aha, it has remembered that I really want to be prompted for year. That's going to give all of the tables on my dashboard a consistent range of data. Okay, so I'm going to instantiate the query. Um, Once again, I need to hit the refresh button because in this case I have a prompt, and same years, voila, data. Okay. Now this is conversational, so if I just say add margin and query, and I'm sorry, quantity, it understands that that we're having a conversation. So add it to what I asked you for before. So it's not necessary to completely reformulate the question. So I'm going to go ahead and generate this query. And with multiple measures, this is going to be a great reason to use the timeline component from the N4V for WebI from the widgets. So we'll see that in a little bit. Okay, so I've got 3 tables. I'm going to add 2 more, and using predominantly nothing but natural language query, and then we'll convert these all to charts. Okay, so completely different question here. Break down sales by store, year, month, category, and line. Okay, So what I'm hoping for here is something that's going to be a drill down hierarchy for my geography, my store, time, year, and month, and then the product hierarchy. So I can specify in the need for viz drillable visualization, the drill down order. It does not need to be a specific drill down path defined in the universe. Okay. Uh, N4V Intelligence is remembering that I still want prompts. Okay. So it's going to ask me once again to prompt for year. So I'm going to double click on the table, hit the refresh button. Okay, and we are going to go for visualizations here, so that's why I'm not too worried. I'm just trying to find some white space here and there for my tables because this is not ultimately what I'm going to have. I'm going to have really pretty interactive visuals for my final dashboard. Okay, last question. Which stores perform best by revenue and volume? Okay, so once again, I'm not saying sales revenue. I'm not saying quantity. I don't really have to understand the universe and what it's asking for. I can rely on the breadth of the large language model. Okay, so that's good. It says it's going to include a prompt for year. So it's going to generate the table, my fifth table and final table. Okay, so I'm just going to double click on it and kind of run low on white space. So I'll move it up here to the top right. And let's go ahead and save this. Now, what's really great about how N4V Intelligence is implemented is even though I'm not interacting with the default Web Intelligence interface per se, I'm generating real queries, which become real data providers. And those results are going into real tables. And so I'm using the features of web intelligence really without having to understand them. And the benefit there is I have queries and I have table blocks that I can hand off to another developer. Maybe it's an assistant, maybe it's IT, and they can add some value. Okay, so I've got 5 great tables. Let's turn these into visualizations using the chart recommendation. Next slide. Okay, so I've got my 5 tables, and from the main panel, I'm going to open up the WebI visualization recommendation, and it's saying that it's waiting for me to select a table in the report. So I'm going to double click on the first table. And so the engine's going to think about the fields in that table, and it's going to score what it thinks is the appropriate visualization. Okay, so I've got some 100% here, but I'm going to use the pictorial stack. And I could add new visualizations and keep the tables, but in this particular demonstration, what I'd like to show you is that I can convert all 5 of these tables into visualizations for a dashboard. Okay, so the pictorial stack takes an SVG file. The default one is a man, and we have several others, and you can choose an SVG of your own. But that's going to display the sales revenue by year. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next table. Remember, this is where I asked for the sales revenue by month. And so I'm going to put this in hierarchical order. So I will use drag and drop to put the year first, followed by the month. And for this one, I'm going to choose word cloud. So the word cloud is going to show me first the year, which is drillable. And of course, the size of the year indicates the amount of sales revenue. And I'll also be able to double click down to the month level, which I'll show in a moment. Okay, so let's go to the third table. So I'm just going to double click on it as well. So this was the one where we added a couple of additional measures. And so this is going to be a great one for the timeline. And no surprise here, the timeline object is the top recommendation on 100%. So this is one of our most popular widgets. and it allows you to have multiple measures on two different axes if needed. And I can scroll through time and look at any point in time, and also use tooltips to hover over data points to get precise values. So it's a beautiful component. Okay, this next table, I'm going to move to the bottom right corner. And so this is where I cross over different elements of my hierarchy. So I'm going to put these in the order that I want to drill down. So I'm just going to take a moment to drag and drop from the table itself. Okay, I could have also used uh, the properties panel to arrange the column order. And so no surprise here, drill bar is the top recommendation. And that's going to allow me to drill down across the five different dimensions that I've specified. All right, so I'm just going to take a moment here to tidy up a little bit. I'm just double clicking on each table and moving it around. And I really appreciate the alignment features, those rubber bands that appear in BI 4.3. And of course, our solution is compatible with BI 4.3, SP3 and higher, as well as BI 2025. Okay, so for this last table, several objects are recommended. I want to be able to analyze the quantity sold and sales revenue myself. So I'm going to choose our data analyzer. So it's part of N4V analysis. And so I'm going to make the screen, make the object a little bit larger here. Okay, and a quick refresh will allow me to look at the data. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I've been able to achieve a rudimentary dashboard with 5 beautiful components. And I haven't even delved into change properties. Maybe I'll send it back to my assistant to do that. Okay, that looks great. So let's test it out. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick refresh here. All right, and so there's the data analyzer in all its glory. So what I've been able to do with simply natural language and clicking on my mouse is I've got a fully interactive dashboard, and I was able to build it with virtually no knowledge of web intelligence. Okay, so here's the timeline, so I can change the amount of data that I want to see, and I've got a scroll bar at the bottom that I can adjust as well. And hovering over the data points allows me to see exact values for the sales revenue and the other things that I've shown. Okay, there's the drill bar. I can drill down through my hierarchy. And so I'm going through the product hierarchy and time. And then lastly, the data analyzer. So just a brief demonstration here. So this brings both a pivot table, which you can see right now, and I can rearrange the pivot table. So it doesn't matter how the pivot table was originally constructed as a user interacting with the dashboard. I can rearrange the pivot table in any way that I choose. Can even add some calculations. But all I really need to do today is just some simple sorting so I can see which stores have the greatest and least revenue and quantity sold. And I can also visualize this as a chart or as a combination. So I've got the benefits of the pivot table over on the left, and I've got a beautiful chart on the right. And these two are synchronized. So any interaction that I perform on the pivot table, it's going to be great. Okay, so we've created a dashboard with no coding, and also virtually no understanding of web intelligence. And what a great result. Okay, so was able to create a web intelligence dashboard using AI-powered natural language query and chart recommendations. So N4V Intelligence is part of the powerful N4V for WebI suite, and availability is planned for September 2025. Our beautiful interactive widgets deliver capabilities that are simply unattainable with web intelligence alone. I encourage you to visit our homepage at need4viz.com, where you can access a fully interactive demonstration of the complete offering. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your coworkers, key stakeholders, and executive sponsors. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. You can also follow Need4Viz on LinkedIn and X.